Welcome back. On this video, we're going to create our first application following the step-by-step guide provided into the ObjectNet manual. Okay. First of all, we need to create a new application to having a fresh start. Okay. I have already configured here. I'm going to call step-by-step and create project. As you can see, the project is 3D. I'm going to pause a while and I'm going back when the creation was finished. Okay, the project it's already created. Now I'm going to package manager. You can go to the window package manager and my assets and ObjectNet. And then import. Okay. Now I'm going to import ObjectNet. Okay. So this was the first step installing. Okay. If you click here, we can follow the same steps and reach the same results. Okay, next, configuring the scene. So as you can see on this example, I have already examples folders unpacked into the ObjectNet. This step is missing from into the manual, but you can reach the same by importing URP. And let me do this. Let's finish. Okay. Import, press twice, and the Unity asks to install or upgrade your dependency. This is required because the ObjectNet examples use the Cinemachine new input system and the URP, and I need to install upgrade. This is required only when you unpack the example scene. ObjectNet don't use any type of dependency, but just our examples. That's the way it is finished. This may take a while depending on your computer. I'm going to pause. No, okay, I don't need to pause. And they ask to restart my Unity editor because I think this is because the URP dependency. That's yes. URP or input manager, I guess. Not sure. Okay, the Unity will be restarted. That's the project being loaded. Okay, so as you can see, I still have the examples. I need to finish the process, importing again. Install upgrade, but this time our restart we do not need it. Okay, and the examples shall appear here. Okay, examples. Okay, one next step is required because this project was created using built-in render pipeline, and the ObjectNet examples use the URP. I'm going to convert my materials, import. Okay, so finish it. So let's back to the step-by-step guide. Configure the scene. Well, configure scene means that you need to put some elements into your scene to use ObjectNet. The first one, the only really required is the network manager. Network manager is the element behind all the network, the ObjectNet behaviors management. So I'm going to drag to the scene. We need to check, as you can see, it has his own default settings. Okay, just one thing, that some version of ObjectNet may have your some inconsistencies during the build, but this is already fixed. Please check if player prefabs, if these two options is checked. If is, uncheck this. Okay, custom networks. Just one small thing. If you have the first version of the ObjectNet. So let's go ahead. Next step is defining a database. Okay, ObjectNet uses his own internal database system to provide the facility to separate your project in parts. This means that let's suppose that you have a scene with some prefabs and you have another scene with another prefabs, another database prefabs. You can separate this. This is also pretty useful if you have, for example, a testing purpose application. You can create two databases of the same project and manage it. But important part is once you define the database that you use, you need to keep this. You can in hot during the game replace your database, because ObjectNet you can't ensure that all other clients you have the same database loaded. Okay, so next step. Configure the database. Let's define a database. You can press into the I and let's call step by step. This is the examples database, and let's create one more step by step. Okay, step by step. Create, and then the database should appear here. Select this database. As you can see, the database is selected here. Okay, so next step. Network prefabs. Well, network prefabs is the entity that ObjectNet will spawn over the network for the all connected clients. Then ObjectNet needs to know what are the prefab that you need to spawn and synchronize over the database. You can do that by pressing to the network prefabs. A new window will be opened, and you need to define what will be the prefab that you need to synchronize and spawn over the database. For sure that you need to put your own prefabs here, but for example purpose, I'm going to use the ObjectNet examples prefabs. I'm going to put a basic player, which is just, let's open it. It's just a capsule. Okay. Okay, here. That with a glass and with some scripts to move. Okay, let's back. I'm going to drag this basic here and register prefab. As you can see, the prefab is registered into the database, and you have some options here that I will not go deeply, but you can read the document. Close. Okay, next step. Player prefab. Well, different from the network prefabs. The player prefab is the prefab that will be spawned. This option is unchecked by default. You need to check it. And the player prefab is the entity that will be spawned and associated with your player. It's a kind of different from network prefab, because network prefab means any object that will be spawned over the network, including NPCs, weapons, and everything else, including players, of course. But the player is a special condition that when your character or your player enter into a game, the ObjectNet will spawn this object and associate with player, which means that this will be the player. We have two options here. Dynamic spawner, which means that you can code what object will be spawned. If you have, for example, skin system, you can select different prefabs, okay? But for this example, I'm going to use a single prefab. And I'm going to drag my examples, my basic player here, okay? And it's important that the object that are contained here was also previously added into the basic players. Objective with that will not check this. But if you put some object here that are not contained into the network prefabs, your game will not work correctly. Okay. The second step is check if you're going to use the user or internal database. Ensure that this option is only all options selected. Okay. And the next step is spawn position. Okay. Well, ObjectNet needs to know where the location that the player will start his game, where the place that will be spawned. Here we have fixed position, multiple positions, and dynamic positions. Multiple position, you can register as many positions you wish, and the ObjectNet will perform a rounding robin here and spawn into the circle. This will be random, but will not repeat. Okay, they will not spawn two players into the same position. Okay, let's go to select the fixed position. The first that, as you can see, we haven't any object into the scene, so would be pretty hard to having a reference. So I'm going to include a terrain just to have some place to player arrives. So I have the terrain. Okay. Now, as you can see, into the ObjectNet, the position to spawn must be a transform. So let's put some object here to be the reference. Spawn position. Okay, there's some typo here. And then let's reset this. And into the corner, I'm going to put into the center just with eyeball, not to be accurate here. I'm going to put 5 above. Okay, this is the position that the player will be spawned. So now I'm going to drag this spawn position to the position that the player will be spawned. Save the project, and these steps, it's finished. Next step, set up server. Well, now we're going to the final steps to build our server. First of all, we need to ensure that the embedded server is checked. This means that the instance of one instance of the game will run the entire logic, and check the server that this instance will be a server instance, okay? And connect to start. Well, the connect to start is important because you have any UI here to start the server or the client. When you check the connection at the start, you mean to the ObjectNet that after the game is launched, they're going to start the communication. We're going to put just 2 seconds of delay here, just to get in time to everything is ready. Save and save project. Okay, now we're going to build. Compiling server. So let's go to the build settings. Oh, one thing, important thing is ObjectNet uses on the full port, okay? Don't touch this. Only touch if you have already this port in use. You need to change this by any port that you wish. But let's build a server. And, well, one more thing, okay, that I missed. Well, if I run this, the application will be executed in full screen, and I will not be able to run in another because there is no the application is in front. Let's go through the project settings. I'm going to drag here and into the resolution presentation, change to the windowed and change to the thing by 600 and resizable window. Okay, let's save again, save project and build. Now I'm going to select create a folder named server build to separate server from the client. Okay, and select folder. Let's wait till the server was built. Okay, let's run the server. Okay, as you can see, you can move the character with double ASD, and you can shift to run. So I have already the server running. Let's close this, and now we're going to The server build is finished, compiling client is okay. So let's go back to the network manager, and the only thing that you need to change is put client, okay? This tells to the ObjectNet that this instance will be a client instance. During the game, you have the option to select this dynamically, but for this example, we're going to fix it. Build the settings and build, and let build the server build, and now I'm going to name it as client build. Select folder. Okay, sorry, I haven't folder here. I need to create a folder and select folder, and then wait the build to be finished. So I have my client here. Let's drag to this, and I have the server build here. Okay, first we need to run server, and now we're going to run a client. Okay, as you can see, I have my both players here. I can run. I'm going to watch to staring you. Okay, let's another here. If I move, this is moving. Okay, if I open another client, let's open another client here. Let's put this here. Okay, another client. I'm going to drag here. Okay, I'm to the party. Okay, let's pass. Oh, look, let me pass here. Okay, I'm authorized to pass. So, okay, everything's okay. If I close one of those, this should be spawned on the others. Okay, so as you can see, the spawned. Okay, well, as you can see, the examples is already running. I will put just one clarification. This is more a Unity issue. If you play, be careful, because if your build not works, okay, this may happen because when you start a server, you start in a server client, and the TCP network, what the TCP does is start a server and binding this port to be used, okay? If I try to run the same examples here, this means that I'm working a slide. Let's work a server here, server, and let's save and try to run. If I run this here, okay, everything will works. If I run the client, they should appear into the Unity. This works perfectly, okay? But one thing, after this, if I try to running server again, sometimes this not works. And why? Why this not works? Let's check here. Maybe works, but in most of cases not work. Why this not works? Okay, basically because Unity keep the connection locked into his editor. There's no way to solve this natively, because once that I try to play here, the server connection it's freezed here. I can, if I try to run another server, they will fight with Unity. They're going to try to catch the same port. You know, this is the reason why I can't run. Sometimes if I try to run the standalone build, the server will not start because they can't catch the port to start. On the other hand, if I close the Unity, the only way to fix this is close the Unity, okay? If I run server and run the client, everything should work. Okay, look. This means that the Unity was keeping the port locked, okay? But this is something that we can't avoid, okay? So It's everything for this time. I hope that you can follow these steps and create your own first Hello World example with the ObjectNet, and we see into the next videos.